Without a doubt, the most beloved and the most hated cryptocurrency project in the world is Dogecoin. As it stands today, it's the number 7th largest crypto project in the entire world. And it started out as a joke. The founders that made the joke, well, the joke was on them because they missed out on millions. So with that being said, how was Dogecoin born? Well, it all starts with an Australian Jackson Palmer, who was a marketing manager at Adobe. So around 2010, 2011, memes are really popping off, right? People are vibing with them, they're sending them around. And around 2011, there was a meme that started to gain popularity. It was just a picture of a dog named Kabosu, who is actually the dog of a Japanese kindergarten teacher. And it was becoming really popular on sites like Reddit, Tumblr, 4chan. People would just post this same picture of this Shiba Inu, and they would write something in broken English in subtitles like such wow, or very concerned, or so scare. And so around that time, Jackson Palmer is just navigating the internet, and this is around 2013. He finds himself on the site CoinMarketCap, which I cover a lot on this channel, and people don't give this site enough respect because it was around way back in 2013. It was covering the market caps and the stats of a lot of these cryptos. But back in 2013, it was just a handful of crypto projects. There were around 100. And so Jackson Palmer is on there just checking it out and saying, wow, it's not just Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's all these other cryptos, and it seems like they're popping up every day. And then in another tab on his computer, he's actually reading an article about the Doge meme and how this meme is so uncorruptible, unlike Pepe. And so he's staring at these two things, and he just wanted to take a piss, as they say in Australian lingo, and he decided to fire out a tweet. And so he tweets, investing in Dogecoin, pretty sure it's the next best thing. He just meant it as a silly joke, kind of like a parody or a satire, making fun of the situation that all these cryptos are popping up and they're all going to be great. He was a skeptic of cryptos in general. And so the tweet actually gained a lot of popularity and traction. And just in case, he thought to himself, okay, let me buy the domain name just in case I want to actually do something with it. And so he buys the domain Dogecoin.com. I actually did something that you guys will appreciate. I used the Wayback Machine to actually find this original website in its form in 2013. So take a look at this. This is a real ancient work of art. It just says Dogecoin. There's a picture of the Shiba Inu with a D over it. And over here it says Dogecoin is an open source peer-to-peer parody cryptocurrency. Actually want to make a Dogecoin a thing? Hit me up. So shortly after this website goes live, there's a fella named Billy Marcus, who was a software engineer for IBM at the time, and he goes ahead and he pings Jackson on his Twitter account, and he basically says, let's do it, let's go for it. He gives him some advice on the project, and the two start collaborating on it. And they did something interesting. They actually forked Dogecoin from a version of Litecoin called Litecoin. If you're not familiar with what a hard fork is in crypto, it's basically when someone takes the code of a crypto project, they copy it, change it a little bit, and start an independent crypto project. And so the first cryptocurrency project ever was obviously Bitcoin, but later Litecoin was actually forked from Bitcoin. If you're not familiar with Litecoin, I made an entire tutorial video explaining everything you could possibly need to know about Litecoin. I will mention it and link it in the description of this video. Make sure to check it out because a lot of it applies to Dogecoin. So then Litecoin was actually forked from Litecoin, and what Jackson and what Billy did is they actually forked Litecoin to create Dogecoin. And because Litecoin was forked from Litecoin, Litecoin and Dogecoin are very, very similar in code, and we'll discuss that later because they both use the script hashing algorithm, so the mining is very similar, unlike Bitcoin that uses SHA-256. Remember this because we'll cover it later and we'll discuss merge mining and actually how a lot of people that were mining Litecoin could mine Dogecoin at the same time and vice versa, and why I actually personally feel that a lot of the large whales in the Dogecoin project were probably early on Litecoin miners. So now let's get to the chapter in the Dogecoin saga where it goes from a joke meme to an actual cryptocurrency powerhouse that has arguably one of the most loyal communities ever and has actually done some really fascinating and interesting things. So it actually came as a huge surprise to both Billy and Jackson that Dogecoin was an instant success. It gained tremendous popularity and the Reddit community grew like wildfire. And people really often used it as tipping currency. If they liked a post or something like that, they can tip someone with actual Dogecoin, which is still a thing. And in just a couple of weeks of its inception, it actually reached more transactions per day than even Bitcoin. And within the first month, there were over 1 million unique visitors to their official website. This was absolutely bananas. Now, we'll discuss in a little bit why Billy Marcus and Jackson Palmer actually left development efforts of Dogecoin by the end of 2014, but a Dogecoin core development team was formed in 2014, and the team was basically a small group of core maintainers. And although Dogecoin was at first just intended for laughs, it sparked a pretty powerful movement, a community driven by generosity and a passion for doing good. And a lot of people in the crypto community that were following it, they were like, wow, this is the power of community. Look at some of these things that they were able to achieve early on. So in 2014, the Dogecoin community raised an impressive 50,000 Doge, worth about $30,000 at the time, to help the Jamaican bobsled team attend the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi. The team had qualified but lacked the financial resources to cover their travel and accommodation expenses, and that's where the Dogecoin community came in and saved the situation, and this actually gained international media attention, and it showcased Dogecoin's community-driven generosity, which attracted even more people into the Dogecoin community. In 2014, they also funded NASCAR driver Josh Wise's race with a Dogecoin-themed car. This car was known as the Moon Rocket. It became a symbol of the coin's quirky and fun-loving nature, and they were able to raise 67 million Doge. That's worth about $55,000 at the time, and that was seen as super impressive. Another really heartwarming initiative by the Dogecoin community is when they partnered with Charity Water and raised 40 million Doge. That's approximately $30,000 at the time to provide clean drinking water to communities in Kenya. This campaign really highlighted Dogecoin's potential for positive impact through charitable efforts. But unfortunately, even in crypto, all good things and all heartwarming things come to an end. You see, behind some of these fundraising initiatives was actually an anonymous and shady character who was later found out to be Ryan Kennedy, and he had a devastating impact on the Dogecoin community. So basically, Ryan created a cryptocurrency exchange in 2014 called Moolah, and he quickly integrated it into the Dogecoin community by facilitating transactions and supporting these aforementioned community initiatives. Green's generous donations won the hearts, respect, and trust of the Dogecoin community. But despite the initial goodwill, concerns arose regarding Moolah's operations and Green's transparency. In October of 2014, Moolah actually had to declare bankruptcy, citing unsustainable operational costs, and subsequent investigations revealed that Ryan Kennedy actually had a history of fraudulent activities. Allegations surfaced that Kennedy had misappropriated user funds, with estimates suggesting he ran off with nearly $1 million in Bitcoin. The scandal destroyed the bond of the Dogecoin community for a bit, and it actually hurt the currency's value. So this fiasco actually went even darker because a few years later, Kennedy was actually convicted for unspeakable sexual acts. You can look into the story if you'd like. I should probably say allegedly, since some of these scam crypto folks love to sling around lawsuits. Within a short period of time after starting the project, both Marcus and Jackson actually left the project altogether and continue to this day to be skeptics of crypto and often have beefs with Elon and such. According to Business Insider, Marcus actually emptied his bags around 2015 after getting laid off and ended up buying a used Honda Civic with them. Now, at the prices it trades for today, that's probably a terrible mistake. So let's now take a look at the tokenomics of Dogecoin, the crypto project as it stands today. As I mentioned, it's the number 7th largest cryptocurrency project by market cap. You could see here that its current market cap is $53.6 billion. It currently trades for just over 36 cents. And it's really important to point out here that the maximum supply is infinity. So let's discuss why that is and actually why the total supply is 147.62 billion Doge when initially in 2013, Dogecoin had a supply cap of 100 billion coins. Well, by the end of 2014, nearly all 100 billion Dogecoins were mined due to the really fast block time, which is 1 minute, and high initial block rewards that were offered. However, in February of 2014, the developers removed the supply cap, making Dogecoin an inflationary cryptocurrency. Since then, an additional 5 billion Dogecoins have been added annually through mining. So what this means is that there will be 5 billion additional Doge every single year. That is why there is no max supply. It is infinity. Unlike Bitcoin that has an actual capped supply of 21 million coins, Doge does not. I should mention that Dogecoin uses a proof of work system similar to Bitcoin and Litecoin, but with less computational difficulty, which makes it easier to mine. So the block time is just 1 minute. New blocks are added every minute. The block reward currently is fixed at 10,000 Dogecoin per block. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, the mining algorithm is script, which is less energy intensive than Bitcoin's SHA-256. I do also want to mention that at one point in time, Litecoin actually helped Dogecoin a lot, and that is because Dogecoin introduced merge mining with Litecoin in 2014 to enhance its security and decentralization. And since both Dogecoin and Litecoin use the script hashing algorithm, miners could mine Litecoin as the parent chain and simultaneously mine Dogecoin as the auxiliary chain. Also important to point out is it does have relatively low transaction fees when you compare it to something like Bitcoin, because the typical fee is around 0.01 Doge per transaction. But if you compare it to other crypto projects, it's actually not that impressive because many other projects are much faster and have lower transaction fees. So what's the use cases for Dogecoin? Well, currently it's primarily tipping, so rewarding content creators or helpful individuals online. You can obviously use it for small scale payments due to the low fees. Just like a lot of other cryptos, you can use it for peer-to-peer transactions. You can use it to fundraise and donate to charitable causes. And obviously speculation is a huge one. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the price. You can see here that after it was created, it did a hell of a lot of nothing up until this point around here. And we're talking about 2021. Elon Musk has a lot to do with that. We'll jump into that in a second, but I want to show you a comparison chart between Doge and Bitcoin so that you can see if they move similarly or not. So if we take a look here, you can actually see that if you invested in Doge exactly 1 year ago versus investing in Bitcoin exactly 1 year ago, you would be sitting at a very healthy 344% profit today versus Bitcoin, where you would have only made 120%. But again, if we zoom out a little further, it's not going to be as impressive. For instance, you could see that if we zoom back over a couple of years, that Bitcoin is actually outperforming Doge by a lot. So we're going to discuss the celebrity endorsement aspect of Doge in a second and also talk about some of the current events, but I want to point out that the community thrives on memes, jokes, and internet culture. And a lot of that is thanks to this subreddit, Dogecoin. You can see it has 2.5 million subscribers. And I do have to say that some of the interaction on posts and the community online is not as vibrant as it used to be. It is still a very robust community. It definitely has aspects of it that are tight knit and on the same page, but it is also a very speculative project. And so you have some people here that just want to keep the meme going and the meme culture and have a bit of fun with it, whereas you have others that are yelling this is going to hit $10 and they're just here to speculate and take out the money before the other person does. There have been a lot of celebrities that actually had an impact on Doge, but no one comes close to Elon Musk. He had such a huge influence. He uses social media and tweets, or now X, to go ahead and frequently tweet memes and comments about Dogecoin. For example, in early 2021, tweets like Dogecoin is the people's crypto and images of a dog rocketed the price upward by over 50% in a single day. He also had a Saturday Night Live appearance in May of 2021. I remember that because some of my friends actually stayed home to quote unquote trade about the speculation of Dogecoin's mention during the show, driving its price to an all-time high. However, after Musk jokingly referred to Dogecoin as just a simple hustle during the show, the price dropped by more than 30% overnight, and it was devastating for Doge holders. Musk has announced that Tesla would accept Dogecoin for certain merchandise, also causing a spike when he did that. There was also potential about broader acceptance of Doge in his companies, including SpaceX. Also, it's been discovered that Elon Musk has been in touch with Dogecoin developers for quite some time. So even though front-facing he's putting on memes and being ridiculous, on the back end it seemed like he was giving advice and was actually a serious part of it. So Elon Musk actually made a Dogecoin and SpaceX collaboration happen when he said that Doge 1 mission to the moon will occur, and that will be the first space mission fully funded by cryptocurrency. This was announced in 2021. Now, it's important to point out that the Doge 1 mission to the moon has not yet launched as of today, but it is expected to launch sometime in 2025 aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. It's important to point out that SpaceX now accepts Dogecoin for merchandise and potentially Starlink's subscriptions, and further integration of Doge into the ecosystem that Elon Musk is, with potentially Teslas, and also everyone is waiting for X, right? If he integrates it really well into X and there is a huge use case for it, this is when I believe Doge can really pop off and potentially reach that highly coveted $1 mark that everyone has been hoping forever that it will reach. It shouldn't come as a surprise that Elon Musk got sued, and he's no stranger to being sued, but Dogecoin investors were not happy with him when the price fell through the floor after all that time that he kept pumping it. And so Dogecoin investors just recently withdrew a case against Elon Musk as $259 billion lawsuit fell flat because a court actually found no evidence of fraud and they decided to not appeal. Now is a good time to point out that Trump is about to take office on January 20th, and by the way, Gary Gensler will be stepping down and the new SEC chair will be more pro-crypto, which can only help be a catalyst for a bullish Doge move upwards. It's also important to note there will be a Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, that will be created. That is, of course, if it's actually allowed to go through, and you can bet that that's only going to help Doge. Now let's discuss some things that hurt Doge. First of all, such a huge influencer like Elon Musk controlling the price of Doge, does that really make it truly decentralized? There is also a lot of FUD being spread about ties to China, and I actually don't think it's all FUD because remember, miners are huge in China, And because Litecoin miners are actually the ones that likely hold a tremendous amount of Doge, it wouldn't be out of the question that China actually has some influence on Doge as well. Another thing about Dogecoin to point out is before it was the only meme game in town. That's actually not the case anymore. If you go on CoinMarketCap and you scroll down, you will see things like Pepe, Bonk. You're going to see a lot of other meme coins. And these meme coins, again, like dog with hat. You have to wonder if people are actually going to rotate their positions out of Doge and go into some of these other meme coins. Something else I want to point out is a potential ETF. Is that actually quite likely that someone will file for a Dogecoin ETF? Now, I think it'll be some time before it's approved, but just the filing can make the price of Doge soar upwards. And now the multi-billion dollar question is, will it ever hit $1? So personally, I think that if it hits $1, and by the way, it came close. We do have to remember that the all-time high of Doge actually occurred on May 8th of 2021. It happened 4 years ago, and it hit nearly 74 cents. That means that it was 74% on its way there to $1. However, now it will be a bit harder to hit it because the supply of Doge increases by 5 billion every single year. So that is something that is incredibly important to drill home and for you to understand. If you are rooting for Doge to ever hit $1, the more time that goes by, the less likely, just because of supply and demand economics, it becomes less likely that it's going to hit $1. So if it's going to hit $1, the highest chances of it hitting that dollar is probably in this bull run that is occurring currently. Personally, I'm not invested in Dogecoin. Why? Because I'm not wealthy enough to just invest in a bunch of memes, cross my fingers, and hope for the best. Hope that Elon doesn't betray the movement. Hope that Trump actually sticks to his word. Hope that great memes come out, and then celebrities like Snoop Dogg and maybe Mark Wahlberg get behind Dogecoin. This is not the type of investor I am. I like to invest in things that have a lot of use cases and utility and the competitive advantage. And for me, Dogecoin does not check the box in that sense. That being said, I'm very curious on what you guys think. And do you hold Dogecoin? Do you think it's going to hit $1 in 2025? Do you think it's going to go beyond? Or do you think it's just a joke and everyone that's holding Doge is simply kidding themselves?